Okay, well, we did see quite a few more brilliant qualifying performances. Leclerc somehow dragging that Ferrari into fourth place, which is very, very impressive. Vettel has kind of admitted that there's a clear pace difference. He acknowledges that Leclerc just seems a lot more confident. I did watch the onboards. Leclerc just seems to have that slightly better throttle control. He's more consistent. For whatever reason, the car just doesn't seem to suit Vettel all that well. So Leclerc doing a good job. Hamilton, again, making a statement, putting it pretty solidly ahead of Bottas. Just no touching him.
I think Bottas was P1 fastest in FP1, FP2, and FP3, and Q1 and Q2.
He was faster in Q2.
And then Hamilton just comes along in that last 10-minute session.
I mean, his Q2 time would have been enough for pole, but
fair enough.
He didn't make it happen in Q3. But yeah, Bottas was pretty fast. He was the fastest in practice and looked like he was very much in contention through Q1 and Q2. But yeah, when it came to the final stand, Hamilton managed to pip him by just over a tenth. And
that's so quick.
Yeah, Perez did a very good job. 5th place start, the Racing Point. We saw George Russell again getting into Q2, and this time beating Vettel.
Yes.
It seems hard to believe us mentioning that Russell's seat could possibly be under threat. That's some of the talk that's going on, isn't it?
Yeah, especially what he's doing with that Williams as well. He's clearly outperforming his teammate in every aspect. And but Russell doesn't bring much sponsorship with him, and that's the issue at the moment, which a lot of teams are facing.
He's their best chance for points right now, though, and that's what's going to get them out of the bottom, and that's what's going to get them more money as they
absolutely. And I couldn't agree more. But we've just seen it with Haas. They've got 2 drivers who bring all right money, but there's more money available, and they're willing to take a risk on 2 new drivers who aren't, haven't performed in Formula 1 before, potentially. They haven't confirmed yet, but we all know where that's heading.
That Mazepin takeover is looming, isn't it?
It's happening, and Schumacher might be ended up in that second seat, or that but they both bring a great deal of sponsorship with them, and that's what they need. They need the money to develop the car. So it's whether Williams put their faith in the driver to score the points, or put their faith in the money to get the car to get the points. It's very interesting. I can't believe we're talking about George Russell and his seat potentially being lost. He's only been in the sport a couple of years, and I feel like he's got so much more to give. A lot of people do. That's at least a common theme, or a common thought on the internet. It's nice to see that everyone actually agrees on something with regards to Formula 1, that George Russell deserves to be in a seat.
Now,
brilliant qualifying session.
Yeah, Albon did well as well. He's been dogged by his qualifying performances quite a bit this season. He finally managed to put it into something a little bit more reasonable, into 6th place on the grid. Not
too bad.
Amazing, but it's much better, and it's much closer to where he should be starting. Unfortunately, It seemed to do absolutely nothing to help him in the race. But we will come to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've said time and time again, he needs to close the gap to Verstappen, and he did do. And I saw that he qualified P6, and I was like, 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris, 2 Red Bulls. Actually, P6 wouldn't have been frowned upon maybe last year when Ferrari were competitive. So actually, it's a pretty big win for him to get P6 this year. And hopefully he didn't, it would be really nice to see him not go backwards on the first lap or first 20 laps. Unfortunately, he did, but we'll get on to that. A good qualifying session. He managed to put it where he needed to do. He just needs to convert that into race pace.